Back on the show, you know who he is. Smiling Sam Alvey is going to be taking on Marcin Prachnio coming up here at UFC on Fox 28 on February 24th. Sam, how the heck are you?
I'm doing wonderful, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, and I appreciate you asking me. Not everyone asks how I'm doing, so I like that. And I know today you were just at the gym. You had like a team meeting. Did you have practice this morning as well, or does that come after?
Yeah. No, we had one practice already. I got one or two to go today, seeing how I feel a little bit later. But yeah, going well. Weight's coming down and feeling sharp.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you're coming off a loss, which I know is very rare for you these days. Usually you're winning. But I know it was a short notice fight, and we talked before that was at a UFC Fight Night 118, and you fought Ramazan Emmev. What did you sort of take away the most from that fight? Was it just the fact that it was such a short notice fight, you didn't really have time to sort of prepare?
The biggest thing I took away from it is I can't cut 42 pounds in 10 days. As much as I thought I could, I can't do it. I found a limit, and I hate that I found a limit, but I did.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, the fact that you have, you knew about this fight a little bit in advance, I imagine, weight cut and everything, like heading into this one should be A-okay.
Yeah, I think I had 6 weeks on this one, which is fantastic. It's all I need. But it's at 205, not 185.
Nice.
So
okay, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Okay, good. So is the plan to stay at 205 going forward then?
No, I'll dance around. I'll go wherever they need me, wherever they want me. 205 is the weight cut's going to be so much easier. I'm a big 85er. I'm middle of the road 205er, so I still have 20 pounds to go or so, but it's right where I want to be.
No, that's excellent. The fact that you get to fight it light heavyweight, and that division too. I mean, they could use sort of an influx right now because you look outside sort of the top 5, is a bit of a drop off there. So I think if you wanted to continue at 205, I think it's a good weight class for you.
I would love to. We'll see where it is. We'll see what the UFC wants, see what I want, and see how this fight goes.
Now, based after what happened last time, are you still planning on taking short notice fights if they come up, or now that you kind of went through that, you're like, maybe we'll hold off and get a full camp this time?
You know what? I love fighting. I can't say yes or no right now. I'll see who they offer. I mean, if they offer me a title shot on 3 days' notice, yeah, I'm going to take it. But if they offer me a debuter and I have to cut a bunch of weight and I have to do that, maybe I'll think twice about it.
Fair enough. Now let's talk about your opponent, Marcin Prachnio. Did you have any idea who he was when they presented the matchup to you?
No, I hadn't. And that just he's fought in some big organizations, ONE FC to be precise. But I'm just not big on the ONE FC game. I've got a buddy or two that fights over there. I know when Ben Askren's fighting, but that's really about all I knew of them. Now that I've fighting him, I've watched his fights. I see who he is, and he's a stud. He's very talented. I'm surprised ONE FC let him get away.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I was going to ask you, the reason I asked is because, I know it's tough keeping track of what's going on in the UFC because there's so many events, but to also try and follow what's going on sort of outside of the UFC, like overseas, it must be pretty difficult sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. There's so much MMA going on these days, and honestly, I do so much MMA in my day-to-day life. Watching more of it is on the bottom of my list. I'll watch the big cards. I'll watch my weight class, but you just get MMA overloaded if you watch too much.
Now that you've had a chance to sort of assess your opponent, he's got the 13-2 record. How do you feel like you match up against him in this fight?
I love the matchup. He's a stand-up guy with some good takedown defense, some monster hands, and he does those fancy karate kicks. So it could be a lot of fun. In watching his fights, he's an actual fighter. I don't know that he's going to point fight me, which is good because apparently if you want to beat me, the best way to do it is not to fight me. Just run
right.
for
And I think I know which fight you're referring to with that. It might have happened in Canada, but it's certainly one of those interesting things. Now, does it bother you at all that the UFC is sort of giving you these prospects and maybe not giving you like a veteran here and there because it seems like they're trying to see where the prospect is, so to speak, when they do these matchups?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. I'll fight debuters. I'll fight, king of the division. It doesn't matter to me. A fighter's a fighter, and these guys are studs. The UFC's main job is put on good fights. They think this is going to be a good fight, and I hope not to disappoint them. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure this is the fight of the night. This is the fight that people want to see again.
Now, I imagine it's business as usual as far as training camp at Team Quest, training with guys like, Chris Curtis and Tom Glitchio and guys like that.
Yeah, we're working with a lot of those guys. Sean Strickland, Tarek Safadine, he's back with us. And,
oh, nice.
Hendo's in for my camp, so it's great working with him.
That's great. How's Hendo looking these days? Still kicking at his age, still putting in the work, it seems.
He sure is. He's just such a stud. He makes me feel bad about myself.
I think we all feel a little bit bad seeing what Dan's able to do at his age.
He's 108 years old or something, and he still whoops everyone in the room.
That's for sure. Who's someone at maybe Team Quest that we haven't seen that might be kind of on the come up? Someone we should be keeping an eye on.
Anyway, Jordan Winsky. He's been a friend of mine for better half of my life, and more than half my life at this point. And he's just a stud. He's a 135er. He's 10-1. He's just destroying people too. So we're just hoping to get him his shot.
For sure. Maybe someone we'll see on the Contender Series, maybe, because that sounds like a pretty impressive record. Yeah,
I hope so. I would like to go around the Contender Series. He's just put in so much hard work as it is. I don't see why he would need to. But you know what? If that's the route he has to go, that's the route he has to go.
Fair enough. So 205, I mean, you're always smiling, Sam. I mean, even when you're cutting on short notice. But, I mean, how great is this, just cutting to 205? Because I don't think you've ever fought at 205 in your career, have you?
Actually, no. Like, my first 13 fights were at 205. I now have more at 85, but for the longest time, I was a 205 fighter. I just cut because a buddy of mine was a little bigger than me, and we were in a tournament together. So he was 205. I went down to 85.
Crazy. And didn't you fight at welterweight on The Ultimate Fighter, or was that middleweight? I'm trying to remember.
I did welterweight, but I'll never.
Oh, wow.
That was the UFC called and said, hey, we'll give you a shot, but you got to make one. Say, okay, whatever you say, I'll make it.
Fair enough. Good stuff. How do you see this fight unfolding coming up here on February 24th?
The important thing that I see is I get my hand raised at the end. I think it's got the potential to be a really exciting fight. He's got heavy hands, and I've got heavier hands, so I'm sure something's going to land. And I can see my hand getting raised at the end.
Excellent. What's next for you after this? I mean, you're not looking past your opponent, but do you want to still do sort of the Donald Cerrone / Sam Alvey schedule of trying to fight like 4 or 5 times in a year?
Yeah. Keep me going. If I feel good, I'm not injured right now. Hopefully I'm not injured after this fight. First things first, I'm going to Disney World after my Orlando fight. I'll be there for about a week, and then I'm going to come home, get right back to the training room, and beat some people up.
Excellent. First time going to Disney World? Or have you been there before?
It's been years since I've been there. I live close to Disneyland.
I know. I was going to say, it's not the same, though, because I went to Disneyland as a kid, and then I know Disney World's it's bigger, isn't it, Disney World?
Disney World's massive. My wife grew up going there often. I think I've been there twice before, but completely different from what I remember, I'm sure.
Excellent. Last question for you here. What are you watching on TV right now? What's getting you through training camp? You watching anything on Netflix or anything like that?
I just saw that there's an Asian version of Full Metal Alchemist that comes out this Friday. I'll be watching that. I just powered through the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and now the live action comes out on Friday, so I'm super stoked about that.
Awesome. Well, we're certainly super stoked about this fight. It's coming up here February 24th. It's UFC on Fox 28. Sam, it's always a pleasure, man, you taking the time. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, hit me up at @SmilingSam. That's Twitter, Instagram, Vines, all that stuff. @SmilingSam. My gamer tag is @SmilingSam also. So if ever I'm on there and you see me on there, hit me up. I love talking to you. I try to talk to everyone.
What's up, fight fans? If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to see even more interviews with your favorite UFC and Bellator fighters. We've also got coverage at events, including post-fight press conferences and media scrums. And if you like this video, check out the video to my right. It's worth your time.